player surviving even in a win. So here we go.
Oh no, Adren.
That's awkward. Now he knows it. They all kind of got confused. The timing wasn't there, but a great push inside. Aza with the AK-47.
You don't see that all the time. Sadly for them, the only one holding here is USP, and that's Nifty. And that's going to be really hard to stop the rest of the Gambit team. So they get the kill, they get the AK picked up. I don't know if they want to try and fight to keep it alive. Right now, it feels like Aza wants to maybe try and see if he can do more damage to the economy of Gambit. Certainly possible. He's listening for that bomb, which should be going down any second. Yeah, there we go. A bit of a delay.
I think he needs to just bail out. Don't worry about the economy of your opponents. You got to establish your own first and foremost. This AK can go a long, long way to helping out. Maybe just have another op. Save some money of buying up that expensive rifle. He's going to get the kill, and this should be a fallback, and he's going to stick around inside of the flames. Aza trying to make it doable, and actually, he had the right idea, and they even lined up for him. But if he had one-tapped that faraway player, then he's got a real shot all of a sudden. So I'll eat my words on that one. Great attempt from Aza.
Yeah, that should be... Get your team a little bit fired up, right? Seeing your teammates suddenly hitting those kind of shots.
Battling to that degree.
You appreciate that. 4-3 now. Moving into round number 8. That AWP back in the hands of Moen. Renegades. They can buy in this round, no problem, but I don't know. I feel like they're starting these rounds well and ending them badly.
They have had a couple of rounds, you're right, where they have started off and then kind of faded away and kind of let some things slip. As you said, you know, it seems some of those faraway battles have been great once some of these mid-range ones come out, and I think a lot of that has to do Hobbit, 6 kills, Doja, 5 kills. They're doing very well, so is Mo with 5 of his own. Adren's still a little bit quiet, but some life out of the Gambit players. They've done a pretty good job of putting themselves in position. Tactical timeout is all over for the Renegades. We'll see what they have. No kits on that CT side. Sending 4 players outside to contend with any fast-paced rush that might come, and it's a good call. Mir's already out. Adren's going to follow it up. Actually, no, excuse me. Mir's going to be content to get to that Olaf corner. Adren with the pop flash. He spots out Jacob. He's going to swing wide on it. There's a good trade, and Mir's already making his way. They have no idea. Aza, thankfully, he wins that fight, but Mir's going to push up even more. Aza's aware, but he can't stop it.
Yeah, he heard that. So really good awareness from Asa, but it's just not enough to actually get that second kill. Still, it could have been much worse, as you said. Nifty holding one angle. JKS with a headshot on Dren. Looking much better now. And Mir hoping for the angle. He just wants to see if he can get the kill on somebody on that bomb site. But the bomb is now dropped out there behind the E-box. And Mo going to find the kill on Nifty. Brings it back in a 2-on-2. Good repositioning from Justillo. He's walking all the way back there. That could be huge.
There's over a minute remaining, though. JKS still waiting as well. This is a big, big play. Does Mir have the timing on it? He hasn't gone that deep. He's got to be careful. He's going to get caught with his back turned. There it is. That's unfortunate for him. Great job, as you said, the reposition from Justillo. They were worried more about JKS from Ladder Room, who's now going around to meet up with his teammate in Connector. So it's going to be confusing. It's going to be so difficult for Mo to realize where both these players are. He's got a fast shot, though, so he can do it if given the opportunity.
I feel like in this kind of situation, you almost just have to put the bomb down and hope that they don't push you and then see what happens afterwards, because you can't really fake out 2 people easily on this bomb site. There are so many positions they could be in. He's got 19 seconds, and if he doesn't do it now, eventually he's going to run out of time. Just tapping it once, and going to be back at it now. I think, yeah, he's left so little time, and they could see him right under. So, good round from Renegades. Good recovery, at least.
Great mobility across the map. Justillo with that first one through CT spawn to the outback, and then also... meeting up in towards Connector. You could see Mo was not even concerned about Connector. He knew one had gotten a kill in Ladder Room. He knew one had gotten a kill in this position. Wasn't even considering Connector to be anything to worry about. Renegades keeping that lead, however narrow, 5-3, and they get a double up setup out of it. So all they have to do now, not always as easy as it sounds, but just avoid taking too much damage. Don't fall too much to these deagles. 3 smokes and a flashbang for this attacking side.
Yeah, definitely should be possible, although there are a lot of people down Pop Dog. This could be a pretty aggressive attack. If you put a lot of people running out into the yard, they're going to be there pretty quick and could definitely catch people off guard. Seems like they've started to fall back a bit, some up the ladder again, and now they've lost 2 players, so whatever plans they had on the Gambit side, going to be very hard to follow up on now, certainly. 5-on-3. They're just waiting for some backup to maybe try and take that peak. They almost lined up for a double.
Now, JKS with an AWP in this round should kind of be a signal to Gambit. They should be saying in their head, well, Nifty's usually the AWPer, so if JKS has got one, we have to go into this next round assuming it's a double AWP setup. Clean sweep for Renegades. I mentioned they had to keep their economy going. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Gambit going to have to invest into this round, even though Adren and Doja are kind of right on the cusp. They're going to be able to get AK-47s with no utility, but 3 players should be okay.
You know what they say about assuming, Moses?
Yes, what do they say, Anders? I know what they say. I'd like to hear you.
It makes an ass out of you and some guy named Ming. It's, I mean, how do they deal with the double up, though? What's the plan? How do you get rid of it? How do you make it less effective?
You get into a bomb site, which they've done a couple times. We've seen some of their executes towards that inner site, especially towards inner. It can be very, very difficult to retake. Now, you are kind of gambling that the ops can do damage before you get the bomb down and get into post plants. But you do want to force the ops into uncomfortable situations. Take care of the riflers. You can do those smoke walls outside that pretty much isolates the ops from having any kind of an impact.
Let's see if they're going to be successful. I mean, I guess in that sense, it would be nice if they had a bit more utility. I mean, they've got most of it. Maybe lacking some Molotovs.
I'd like to see them do one of those classic plays. If they're
Three more or less. Good trade from Hobbit. That was almost a free kill there for Jake. Now it's causing a lot of rotation on the CT side.
Yeah, that was a very critical trade. Weak into the outer bomb site. Nifty's going to be far back. Hustillo, though, is the X factor here for Renegades. The fact that he's able to stay in ladder room with relative safety is huge. This is what gives them the confidence to rotate both two riflers inside to B. Stacking up the defense there on Gambit. Just past a minute. Still haven't made their decision yet. Lining up for the smokes outside, and here they come. But again, Hustillo, if he stays alive, if he does not fall, Renegades are going to be just fine.
Nifty getting the kill on Doja. Definitely big news for them. Renegades, they are looking to take round number 7 here. 4 on 3 with only 30 seconds. Adren right through the smoke to take down Nifty. That's a big find and the perfect timing against Hustillo. Grenade actually hit.
Come on, jump. Grenade out. Throwing smoke. Grenade out. Throwing a grenade. Throwing fire. Chop, chop. Throwing smoke. Flashbang. Grenade. Laying down smoke. Smoke. Flashbang. Throwing fire.
Bomb has been planted.
Oh, sod it. Let's go. Throwing smoke. Incendiary out. Grenade out. Incendiary. Throwing smoke. Throwing flashbang. Throwing fire.
翻盘了。
Terrorists win.
没钱买枪了。
We're on. Laying down smoke. Grenade out. Throwing flashbang. Incendiary. Throwing fire. Flashbang. Deploying flashbang. Stay frosty. Move it, son.
Terrorists win.
Aye, we gave them a challenge. Let's go, my brother. Grenade! Are you crazy? I'm throwing a grenade! I'm throwing a flashbang. You got him. This is easy. We can
Go in.
Lose one. I'm on my way.
Be clear.
Flashbang.
Terrorists win.
I'm planted.
Bomb has been planted.
Let's go, let's go. Grenade out. Throw in smoke. Grenade. I'm throwing a flashbang.
Hey, clear, hey, clear.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
We are go. Go, go, go. I'm throwing a grenade. Throwing a flashbang. Darn.
Hey, clear. Bao phải phong bó à? Hey, clear.
Terrorists win.
B, go B, go B.
Let's go. Throwing smoke. Grenade. Throwing fire. Throwing fire. Target. Throwing.
哎，打的什么没看懂。
Terrorists win.
We must win. I'm throwing a flashbang. Smoke! Throwing smoke! Flashbang! Planted.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
This is what we have been working for. Molotov! I'm throwing a flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. Flashbang. I'm planting the bomb. I'm throwing a grenade.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Let's go, my brother. Smoke! Smoke! I'm throwing a flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. I'm throwing fire. Grenade out! Throwing fire! Grenade!
各位，
Terrorists win.
We will make them regret this day. Grenade out! Molotov! Throwing a grenade! Flashbang! Throwing a flashbang! Flashbang! Grenade out!
Counter-terrorists win.
We must move! Grenade! I'm throwing a flashbang. Grenade! Throwing fire! Throwing flashbang! Laying down smoke!
A clear.
I'm planting.
Bomb has been planted.
It is going to explode.
Terrorists win.
Now is the time. Throw in a flashbang. Throwing a grenade. Smoke. Darn.
跟我去 B。
Smoke.
For me, go B。
Activating the bomb.
井应该在 A。
Bomb has been planted. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
It is time now, my brothers. I'm throwing a flashbang. Throwing smoke. Smoke. I need the cup. I'm being overrun.
Terrorists win.
We have destroyed them.
Being alive for us, Moses, to get back into it.
Gonna need a bigger boat.
An even bigger one. One that is unsinkable in some fashion. I think we tried to make one of those ones that didn't really work out.
Yeah, I heard stories about that. That's a great soundtrack.
Does it? Jacob is very patient, but the clock is working against them, and they're not going to be finding any kill like that soon. I feel like we're reaching that sort of a new level of desperation here on the Renegade side. They can sort of feel it coming in. Guess so can we. Dren spotting out a couple of people up there. 30 seconds now. They've got to make their move, and not going to find any entry there. JK has gone down already, and as they're going to fall, and almost a headshot. Well, it was, but almost a kill on Jacob. That would have been enough, and he's alone with 19 seconds in a 1-on-4. Jumping down and instantly gets dropped by Doja. 16-10 in favor of Gambit, making them 1-1 in the group so far. Moving on past Renegades. Good job on them.
They've got to be happy. It didn't look clean. It wasn't necessarily all that convincing. They had that critical mistake at the end and a couple smaller ones throughout, but I think for a team that's trying to kind of return to former glory, this is, you know, just a nice necessary step that you take. You know, beating a Renegades team that is good but not great, and just kind of, you know, improving slowly over time. As I mentioned, the longer they have Blade behind them, I think they're going to get better and better, and this is just kind of a good start in this event.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable match. I mean, we'll just forget about that 1-2 versus 5, I think, and
that was ugly. That really pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. That made me so angry.
Erase it from history.
I was very tilted.
And, yeah, apart from that, they were looking good, and just I think that especially that T side made me really happy. Great trade fragging and great fundamental counter-strike.
Especially because they started into it slow, didn't they? They started into it very, very slow, and they kind of came alive towards the end and figured it out, you know. And that's cool to see, overcoming adversity as well. I mean, the performance out of Mo, obviously 27 kills for him. That Dren was the big one for me. He was kind of my selling point on predicting Gambit to win. It was just because of how good a Dren looked yesterday, and he delivered as well with 22.
Yeah.
So the stars of Gambit looking better at this event than we've seen previously.
Absolutely, they are. Now we've got Freya with us, so one of the players.
Thank you, guys. Yes, I'm actually managed to grab a Dren from the winning side Gambit, so that was a very important win for you guys to get under your belt. What was the team's mentality like coming off of the loss yesterday into this game?
We didn't focus on the loss that we lost yesterday, so we tried to find our game on this tournament because we felt a little bit shaky on the first game. We didn't do our game, our strats, what we prepared for. And yeah, today we just really wanted to focus on our game and how we're playing at, and just tried to find our game, and that worked.
Yeah, because last time you faced Renegades, which was a couple of months ago, you actually won against them. Did this give you more confidence in this match?
We don't look that we won last time because team can prepare well and they can boot camp and they can beat us. Every team can beat us right now. So yeah, we didn't look at the previous games. So we're just looking like the future games or future like right now.
So just going back to the first half of that match, it seemed like round 10 was a point where it kind of turned for you. Do you feel like you kind of found your momentum here?
First half was kind of lost for the first like 15 minutes. Because after that we just tried to play slow and just find our game. And somehow we managed to win like 8 rounds.
As Anders and Moses just said, you had an incredible game. What enables this strong performance?
I don't know, just maybe focus on game and that's all.
I just briefly want to talk about your new addition, Mer. He was added to the team, I believe, 2-3 months ago. What do you hope he will bring to the team?
I hope he's going to bring us like more firepower, and he needs like more confidence right now because he needs more experience playing with us. So this is the main thing for him right now.
So just looking to the future, to tomorrow's game, you're in a much stronger position with that one win under your belt. What are you going to be focusing on as a team?
We're just going to play like we played today and just try to focus on our game.
Thank you very much. We're going to head back over to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much. That was Freya, the Slayer, and Adren. And Chad, you're nodding along. You feel like Adren was speaking the truth there.
Yeah, especially about Mia, right? In the sense that he was the best player in Vega Squadron when he was on that roster, but coming over to Gambit, I don't think he's met his full potential yet. And you have to consider that Vega Squadron, they weren't a top dog in that region, even though they did have impact at the major. Now he's playing in a team with 1.6 legends like a Dren, like Dozier, obviously Hobbit and Mo. They won the major last year. So these are his idols in some regards. So maybe, you know, a bit of nerves, has to have a bit more confidence, play a little bit more brazenly. We might get an even better looking Gambit.
Because he's not without the ability. And it's a conversation, of course, we'll have when we do see Gambit's next game. We want to focus more on Train and how things did transpire there. Because, my goodness, as always, get Renegades close but no cigar, Jacob.
There was a lot of times where Chet were outbursting, you know, They don't deserve to win.
Doesn't sound like me.
No, that sounds like you. There was a lot of times where you felt, or I felt too, by watching them. The Renegades made some silly mistakes, some mistakes that a team on their level and a team with their experience not necessarily should make. Individual plays as well, Nifty not shoulder peeking when it's needed, and in general, just another testament to how Renegades have fallen from. It was never like Renegades being a good team. It was never like Renegades being a top 5 team in the world, but there was potential, and you actually started to believe in them when they brought in JGM and had a good run at the ESL Pro League season for two seasons ago. For now, though, it's just been a complete team in disarray, and once again, they just show against that a team like Gambit is a team that you should be able to beat in current state if you want to do anything at a major like this.
Sure, if they wanted a chance to be one of those teams we considered on the cusp, then this is one of those games that should be a gimme. Now they drop down to the 0 and 2, and they have to do a reverse sweep within the Swiss system, right? Which is not any easy feat when the likes of Rogue are firing and they're showing that they can be competitive. Spirit doing better than we were expecting as well. It's a tougher task for these guys moving forward. Now, I just wanted to point out something here that I think that game should have been closed out a lot quicker by Gambit. You still had a couple of nice rounds there to keep them in towards that inner bomb site. Some questionable decisions by Gambit as well. Not going for retakes versus pistols. It's like, what's going on here, guys? You can probably finish this one now.
Daps was watching backstage, and he was actually saying, you know, in retake servers, it actually kicks you if you don't.
If you stay.
Yeah, if you do what they're doing, you get kicked from the retake server.
I think people may have seen what we were talking about with the unorthodox style as well. They just play look, I say it and I make it seem like it's every single round. It's not every single round. It's just more often than not that you do see them playing a little bit more reserved and finding kills in scenarios which most teams necessarily would be maybe up close. They'd have a different setup.
Kind of reminiscent of an old Tyloo. The way Tyloo used to play their CT sides. Do you remember when they used to play like super passive on sites?
Oh, like on Cobblestone, for example, that setup they had on B. Yeah.
Statue and Coop.
The plan was not to be there. You know, just see what happens.
Maybe they left it open. Anyway, head to head. Let's bring it up because it's brought to you by Predator, which is in cinemas September 14th. We do have Nifty and Mo, and you talked about. I mean, I'm so glad Mo was brought up in that head to head, Jacob, because he had a. What do you call it in Australia, Chad? A ball terror?
Yeah, that one works.
It's good to see, and he had one yesterday as well, so it's really a good sign for Gambit this time around that Mo is fired up, because he needs to be a catalyst behind his team. We haven't seen Adrian, we haven't seen Hobbit play up to the potential that they've had in a while, so if they can't do it, then Mo has to be the guy. I mean, from what Gambit have done so far, losing an OT game to Tyloo, they should have won, and now winning against Renegades fairly comfortable, makes me and gives me a sense that this this Gambit team have a decent chance of making it to the next stage of the major.
Yeah, I just had the thought then, which has just come to me, and I don't know why it took so long, but the biggest brain was not in the server, and that was obviously Blade, right? Two teams without a dedicated, well, I'm not saying Nifty's not dedicated, but a traditional in-game leader. I hope we don't completely move away from that. I'm still a purist in that regard. I would like if we still had like a strong in-game leader in the server, but Blade, that's the type of team that he can read like a book.
Yeah, and he certainly did, and Gambit do take the win. We'll give you the updated standings now for our second day here at the Face It Major, and you can see where that's left us. A couple of teams already locked in themselves, that 2-0. You can see NIP, Vega Squadron, Team Liquid, and Astralis are sitting at 2-0 now, and we're heading into that 0-1 with 0-2 now for Renegades.
Yeah, just in case people have only joined us now, tomorrow when the seeding is done with the Swiss with a twist, we won't pronounce the name, it sounds like something else. Basically, they will, however they've fared so far in the tournament, and their opponents will reseed them.
Yeah.
Do you want to say the name of it?
Buckhole.
Oh, okay. You've actually made it worse.
He made it much worse.
Yes, you made it worse. Buckholt's system, it's a mastermind himself came up with the system. Basically, as Chad says, we will have them reseeded once we get those 2 games played for everyone. So you play according to the success of the opponents that you beat or lost to. Still, let's have a little look. Epics.gg, of course, a quick reminder, one of the sponsors that you can go ahead and get the Face It London digital cards, and you can collect, trade, and share your favourite CSGO stars. All right, we're going to take a break. North are now stepping into the ring versus Team Spirit, and this is a loser's game. Who's going to go 0-2? We'll find out after the break.
their skin. They're hunting down their prey, let the games begin.
It's time to see who out of North and Spirit will prevail and find themselves 1 win, 1 loss. Coming into day 3 of the Face It Major. We're live from London at the Twickenham Stadium as we get closer and closer to finding out who the real challengers are of the Challenger stage. Now, North go up against a team who we've yet to see too much from. Spirit, probably the least or lesser known team in attendance here in London, does give them that curveball edge. We'll see what our analysts have to say. Introductions, though. I am Machine. I feel weird calling myself Machine now.
When I first came into this, you may remember, I want to just be Chad.
His name's Chad, by the way. Sponge Birchall and Damien Dap Steele. That's not...
correct.
I can't do that, actually. You're either Damien Steele or you're Daps.
Which one's better, Tony Black or...
you know, they're both equally as badass.
What do you
Tony
mean?
Black, maybe. I think he takes it.
Tony Black.
Tony's got it. Sorry, Chad. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. We're talking about his name, Damien Steele, or compared to Tony Black, or we're talking about Tony Black's name used to be Kabakan?
No, we were just talking about which we prefer out of Damien Steele and...
What about we'll throw Justin Savage in the mid.
Justin Savage is a pretty good name. Actually, Justin wins, except I'm still sad he hasn't just changed his name to Savage.
It's because he was a 1.6 player and there was a Chinese player called Savage.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would make sense.
It would be.
That's true.
It would make a whole lot of sense. Still, let's start talking about these teams just a little more. Now, I want to preface our discussion by talking about the fact that Team Spirit, they are in the 0-1 category. However, Daps, you seem to be a little in love with them. Help me out here.
I think just watching their game versus Vega, obviously they lost, but they just seemed very structured and they had a lot of different ways to do things. And I think that's something that Vega didn't have, even though Vega won the match.
Sure.
So I think that's actually going to help North in this match. I don't think North is good versus actually Vega's style. I think Vega would actually have a better chance in this matchup than Spirit does. So I think North's going to win this very easily.
Yeah, and this is North, of course, with a bit of a chop and change in the role department. If anyone hasn't caught their games recently, what have they missed, Chad?
MSL is an AWPer, Alex. Yes, you heard me right. Do not check your television set. Everything is fine. He has picked up the AWP. He is AWP in-game leading. What a prolific role that is. And works for people like Fallen, but he's made it a bit of his own, and we have AZ, Kirby, and Valder all playing as solid Counter-Strike. Nico is the most recent addition. He's come in to take over the position of Mercs, who was the primary AWPer, and he's just been solid to this point. He's just been doing his job, nothing too flashy thus far, and it's just this team is kind of getting back to a point where we expect them to be.
Potentially what they needed, though. Potentially they did just need Mr. Consistent.
Yeah, I think it's gone out the window that MSL can run a team, or at least a T-side format, with a star AWPer, right? He's run teams in the past with 5 riflers and it's been okay. Now he tried with a star AWPer, it didn't work, and now he's gone, let me show you how it's done, picking up the big green himself.
Yes, these rosters are presented to you by DreamTeam.gg, but no star AWPer needed when MSL has been absolutely swifty with it. Fantastic work from him, of course, lifting the trophy over in Stockholm just a week ago.
4 days ago. What is it, Thursday?
So I keep saying a week ago. Yeah, you're right.
4 days ago that they were crowned the DreamHack Masters Stockholm champions by beating Astralis, the best team in the world, and their countrymen in what was a derby for the ages. And you think about this, they haven't even had a chance to finish celebrating, right? If you think about what happens when you win tournaments like that, there's normally a lull period. This is straight into the biggest tournament of the year. This is straight into the major, the most prestigious, the top of the mountain. And they have to perform at 100%. Yesterday, I think they may have fallen into a trap by playing Overpass versus a team like Hellraisers, who are very proficient on that kind of a playground where they do have all the protocols in place, and Issa and Voxic making their life very difficult. But coming into today against a team like Spirit, these guys are 10-1 favorites.
10-1. Oof.
At least.
That's an oof. And then up against them, it is Team Spirit. A lot of people doubting what they are capable of, but still somewhat of an unknown entity, which does, to some extent, Daps, give them an advantage. Do you always feel a little bit of a weird vibe going up against a team you truly are unfamiliar with?
Yeah, so to touch on Chad's point of just North winning and not really having time to celebrate about it, I think it could actually be a negative that they won, because now their expectations are through the roof, and they also didn't prepare sort of like Liquid did by missing both of those events before this major. So I think Spirit has nothing to lose, and they also played some good Counter-Strike aside from their CT side Mirage, which was terrible. But I think you're going to be looking at Dav Koss, who's their AWPer. He looked pretty impressive yesterday at points, Coldy as well, and SYD, or Someday Young.
That's such a fun name, isn't it?
It is.
It feels like he's listening to the music when the OC was one of the most popular TV shows.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like he's listening to like...
The OC.
Orange County, mate. It was
Some
it was a
black
great
metal.
black metal. You think?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Heavy metal.
Yeah, I think so.
Some
It's
Bring
got
Me
like some
Horizon or
Suicide
something.
Silence on there.
I want to just build on that Davkos point. Davkos used to play for Flipside as a stand-in, and then I think he actually moved to the roster as a full-time member. But the reason he played as a stand-in was when Simple was still banned by ESL, I believe, and couldn't play in tournaments, and he was standing in and trying to fill that role. So yesterday, when I was watching him move around with the AWP and get relatively aggressive, I was like, hey, you want to fill those shoes that you once had to wear.
Yeah, boys got moves for sure. And now we talk of Davkos. He's actually featured in our head-to-head, which is brought to you by The Predator, movie in cinemas soon. But we have Valda and Davkos head-to-head, and I do love talking about Valda. I've only heard positive things about Valda from others. I mean, everyone seems to believe he's the kind of a perfect fit for this role within any team.
He's a very nice guy, first of all. Let's get that up.
All right, he's a nice guy.
As we move forward, he's a rock, and he obviously played in Heroic, and he was a very stable player, and then got the chance to upgrade and play in North, who was seen as the bigger brother of that squad. And he's still been solid. For a while there, when North had Mertz in the team trying to find their feet, Valda was the best player. He was the star player. He was doing it all. But now that AZ and Kirby are filling their roles out a little bit better, he can go back to that, more bomb site anchor, more retake heavy style of play.
I think it's the consistency which is often brought up, and I think a lot of people's opinion is that it's finding consistency in a player is invaluable. I mean, it seems to be a very sought after trait within a player, Dabs.
Yeah, I think consistency is a thing that a lot of teams are trying to find. Obviously, the top 5 teams are fairly consistent, and you have a lot of players that have high peaks, probably in like the top 20, even top 30 to an extent. There's players that can hit that high peak, but getting to that consistent level is what wins you tournaments, and it's what keeps you at a consistently high level.
I'm sure it makes calling a lot easier, but we are moving into the veto.
Looks like they feel wounded from their loss yesterday on Overpass, getting rid of that in the first phase. I'll point it out again for any new viewers. North of the high seed here. Oh no, they would have done a coin toss because they're both loser teams. But North have selected to go with the A team, or whichever have selected. North is the A team.
Yes.
Which means they will decide the map, and Spirit will get to pick the side.
Oh, what have we got left here? Hang on, Nuke still in the pool.
It's kind of surprising to me that Overpass was banned. They did play each other. I looked back in a Belo Horizonte qualifier a long time ago, and North actually won 16-2 on Overpass.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of surprised to see. Well, Nuke's such a good map for North.
Yeah, but Spirit must be willing. Like, there is a reason we're going here, especially as the underdogs. You're letting it go to Nuke versus North?
They're 2-5 in the past 3 months on Nuke, and North is 1-1 in the past 3 months on Nuke.
So not a lot to really look
but
at there.
North isn't, like, all Danish teams are pretty good on Nuke.
That's kind of the narrative, right? That's kind of what goes on in Denmark.
Yeah, and we're going to be finding out what goes on in the server. Prediction time, gentlemen. Is anybody rolling the dice? Even Team Spirit's #1 fanboy, El Daparino. What are you saying?
No, it's a North. Convincing too. 16-5 probably.
I love how he gives us a scoreline. Let's play his game.
I think that Spirit are definitely going to have structure, which they showed on Mirage. So they'll have the set strats down. It's just how they can play in the mid rounds. I don't have any issues seeing them get secret control. I think they can get 8 rounds on the board.
Okay, so we've got, what did you say, 5?
Yeah.
8. The closest gets a bottle of room temperature water that I have under my desk.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, okay. 8, 5, 8. I'm going to say 12.
Why are you giving them 12?
Because Spirit have got the spirit.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I'm here for. Top tier analysis. And with that said, we'll head over to the people that love the sound of their own voice, but also provide so very much analysis. It's my gorgeous friends, Jason Moses O'Toole and Anders Blue.
Seems like a fun little contest. I'll get into that. I'll throw in a bottle of chili water. Not cold, but chilly. Do you want to explain your prediction of
chili water? Sounds like the most awful invention of all time, really.
I didn't mean like the pepper. I meant chili, as in cold. Do you want to explain why you picked Spirit?
I didn't pick Spirit.
That's what you told me.
No.
Oh, well.
You're just lying on camera. Caught lying. It's fake news.
Here we go. It's an outrage.
Listen, I'll get somebody on that. I mean, as much fun as it would be, I just don't see a way that North can lose this game.
I don't either, but we do have the Upcomer app, upcomer.com, if you want to vote on who is going to win this game. You can check that out.
94%.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's beautiful.
That's a lot more.
You're part of the 6%. Not quite at the 1% yet, but your 6% is still pretty good.
Yeah, and we can't do any political campaigns, but we'll get there eventually. Yeah, I think, I don't know, I mean, Nuke is obviously a strange map to be playing in a best of one.
We just don't see it too often, do we?
Yeah. I don't know, I'm gonna have to see what happens here. We did see almost earlier in the day, Rogue almost took down Astralis. I guess anything can happen.
That was wild, was it?
Yeah, it was really cool. But it didn't.
They probably should have, actually. They lost that,
Yeah.
like, 5 versus 2 or 4 versus 2 or something crazy.
So, best of ones are really strange, and I mean, the Desk brought it up as well, just the fact that we don't. Yeah.
It seems a little bit counterintuitive to a degree, but you do kind of want to let people focus on like the new experiences that they're going to be have. Trust the players to make the right decisions.
Yeah, I mean, whatever system you're normally playing in, it does sort of assume that the other side is going to be playing a brand of Counter-Strike that you're used to seeing. We've seen this so many times in the past, and the problem with it is, if you're playing a best of 3 and you lose the first map to a brand of unrecognizable Counter-Strike to you, usually you can adjust in the second and third map, right? When you're playing best of 1 games, it can take you a whole half before, like you might not even realize, and in the second half you're playing on the other side, so then whatever adjustments you've made might not even be applicable anymore.
Yeah.
It can really spiral out of control. I obviously still think North are going to win, but if this turns into a closer game than maybe most people think, that probably is where you have to look for the explanation. Team Spirit are going to be... Hold on. Is it the other way around? Oh, they're starting with CT.
Based off of it, and here you get the opening kills, and you cause a lot of havoc, and you cause a lot of confusion. But you can't close out the round, and that's going to be painful. So North that's going to help them, understand a little bit of what's happening, and then figure things out as well. It does look like we have a technical timeout.
Love those, especially if they're exciting.
I can tell you a funny story about Nico from the after party.
Yeah? Go on.
It is from the after party, so I have to be a little bit careful.
I was going to say, this is already a...
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It involves me, so it's
okay, self-deprecating.
Yeah, self-deprecating to a degree. I mean, I'd had a couple bevies, as we say.
Soda?
Yeah, and I'd stepped aside at one point during the after party, just check the phone, get to a table all by your lonesome, have a minute yourself, not saying hi to the people. And Nico had walked up to me, and for whatever reason, I didn't necessarily it didn't register in my head that it was Nico.
Right.
I just thought it was just some kid walking up to me that I just didn't know who it was. And obviously later on 10 seconds later it kind of struck me that this was Nico, but he he just did that thing where he acted like he was going to come part my hair. Then I was just who's this random kid reaching out to me trying to pet my head. And it was just the weirdest encounter in the world. And I just looked at him he'd lost his mind. I did feel a little bit bad, but it was all because it just didn't register as fast as it probably should have.
Have you talked to him about this afterwards? Did you catch him later and say, hey, listen, by the way,
No, we straightened it up afterwards.
Okay. That's good news, I suppose.
Yeah, but for about 10 to 15 seconds, I
feel like this is just
happening?
A great view into the world of a bald person, Moses. The kind of challenges you have to face.
The things I have to deal with.
The kind of stuff you have to overcome. People trying to pet you in public. It's all weird.
It has oddly happened. I get that at every event, People just walk up and hey, can I rub your head? And I'm like, that is such a weird question to ask someone you don't know.
So if you're showing up, if you've got tickets already for the Face It Major, you know what the plan is then.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did just kind of screw myself over, didn't I?
He loves it secretly.
What a weird. Can I pet your head? No. 1-0.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I love to keep going down that line. I really would, but we've been interrupted by the game, which is now back. Spirit losing the pistol in spite of some pretty interesting aggression, and now blowing up the door and running straight out. This is something you can do when you know the enemy team is not going to have any grenades on the other side, the CT side defending. Later on it becomes more of a problem though when there's going to be Molotovs in front and everything else, but I kind of like this call from North anyway. AZ holding over the MAC-10, they've got 2 people very low, and they're holding for the bomb plant. Fire, a lot of fire on top.
Scout gonna drop down on Davkos and Sotfik outside, and they're just gonna bail out. So yeah, nice win from North. Even AZ and Nico a little bit low. They should be fine, but I don't think North is gonna be able to take these weapons away. 2-0 now. What do you think the score is gonna be? We had 16-12 from Alex. We had 16-8 from Sponge, and we have 16-5 from Daps.
I'm gonna go with 16-1. It's gonna be rocking them.
All right, it's gonna be that bad.
Yeah, I don't know why 1 instead of 0. Really, I can't really justify that answer in any way.
You got to expect straight up luck. You'll just luck 1 round into your favor, right?
Yeah. 1 awkward round where somebody bumps into each other and it goes horribly wrong.
2-0.
Yeah, and I mean another round here where they can't really do much of anything, so expectations are low.
I'm really interested to see the first gun round out of Team Spirit. Are they going to do something, crazy once they have those M4s, push up outside, push in towards hut, whatever it might be, or are they going to stay, kind of try and play it a little bit more standard? Are we going to see any kind of a plan out of them, or is it literally going to be this is kind of Team Spirit not super experienced on this map and maybe going for a pug style?
Ooh, a lot of people peeking AC. Must be feeling slightly uncomfortable. You can't just call him for backup again. They can't really get rid of him in that corner, but yeah, now they're all showing up. Coldy and SDY. The last ones left. The Desco were arguing about whether or not where that name came from is a metal band, but I was given an immediate association to
Listen up. Thanks for coming out to the Geo Test Center today. I'm sure these tests will be beneath a man of your stature, but a quick refresher course is always good, and HQ likes to see every new recruit run through these tests at least once. So now let's get started. Pick up that weapon and unload the clip into the target. Observe your bullet spread and weapon kick during firing.
There's Suffolk. He comes down, 2 kills, and
they are, but as the desk was saying, Spirit are what, like 5-2 or something? I don't know. They seem to have been on a good run on this map, so we might be against lesser competition.
I was gonna say it's gonna be against different.
But I mean, I guess it could still give them like even just having the feeling that this is a map that we could do pretty good on could make a difference, right? So
yeah.
That's not too bad at all. Just to bring it back to the after party scenario, now that we're waiting for the tech issues, I actually regularly have this problem in esports, just because there are so many people involved and they come from so many different companies, and you run into them sometimes like once every other year. You'll run into somebody who's a representative of some company that you haven't seen for a long time, and I'm already not good with names in general, and especially with
first loss, I mean, obviously losing 2 players there, that's really rough to deal with. A bit tough, but overall, yeah, if they can improve upon that, at least get the plan and get out of the bomb site, that